This is the plaintiff, Joseph Stone. He says the defendant got involved in a discussion he was having with one of his customers, lost her temper, and ended up squirting him in the eyes with some sort of floor cleaner. He reacted by throwing his cup of coffee at her and then rushed himself to the hospital emergency room. He had to go to an eye specialist. The defendant refuses to pay for his medical bills, so here they are. He's suing for $1,297.93, the amount he's out. This is the defendant, Mimi Patitucci. She says the plaintiff was super disrespectful to her, thought she was some sort of maid, and when she followed him into a room with her father, he lunged at her. She sprayed him with cleaner. He tossed his cup of coffee in her face, and that's when she went to the cops. The plaintiff's a loser. The judge will see it, and she's pretty sure she'll walk out of here the victor. She's accused of cleaning a guy's clock. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $3,000 for harassment and attorney's fees.
All parties, please raise your right hands. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Mr. Stone, you are suing Ms. Patitucci for $1,297.93 in hospital bills and doctor's bills because, according to you, she attacked you, and you are counterclaiming against him $3,000 for harassment and attorney's fees because, according to you, based on his actions, you had to run out and get an attorney to defend you in a criminal case. Tell me what happened.
Good morning, Your Honor. I was hired by the defendant's father to install a floor that he purchased. When I finished the job, he ran 3 boxes short of the wood. So I told Mr. Patitucci to give me a call when the rest of the wood came in. So 2 weeks went by, and he gave me a call on a Saturday and said that his wood was finally in. When could I come out? And I said I can be out there the following Monday morning. So as I showed up, he said that he had a problem with the hardwood floors. So when I walked in, I saw this huge bubble in the floor, and there was definitely a problem. So I looked up at the ceiling, and lo and behold, there was tiles missing from the drop ceiling. Insulation was hanging down, and on top of that bubble was, you could see where there was water on the hardwood floor.
Did you take pictures?
I never got a chance to. So as I was—
Well, that takes 1 second. So it just didn't occur to you.
Well, yeah, I didn't know.
Because you're talking to him, you're in the beginning stages, and what happens?
As I was explaining to him what happened, Mimi just blurted right out loud and said, "There's nothing wrong with the laminate floor. It did get wet. It was because your install job you did." And I looked over at it. I said, "This is between my customer and me. You have nothing to do with it." And she said, "As a business owner, you know, you show a lot of disrespect." And I said, "You're not my customer. I don't have to show you anything." So as I walked away—
Did you know who she was?
No, not at all. No,
and as you walked away—
As I walked away, I was walking into another room, and as I went to go close the door behind me, it got kicked open.
But why would you talk that way to anybody who is obviously related to a customer?
I didn't know.
Well, I don't mean by blood, but she has something to do with the business because she exists in that place. Like, why would you talk that way to a dog? Why would you talk that way at all? Don't get too excited because I'm coming to you next. Oh, by the way, you said something else, right?
It had nothing to do with
What else did you say to her?
It had nothing to do with
What else did you
respect.
say to her?
Nothing.
Go back to cleaning because you thought she was the cleaning lady.
Correct.
Right, tell me about that part.
She was in just a regular headband, cut off sleeves, a pair of shorts. She had the cleaner in one hand and a rag in the other. Mm-hmm. I don't know who she is. She's not my customer, Your Honor.
So you just go back to cleaning.
No, I told her that I am discussing something between my customer and myself.
You have an anger control problem?
I'm sorry?
Do you have an anger control problem?
No, I don't. Not at all.
Because it's looking that way. You're not the only one in the room with one. So you walk into the other room.
And so as I went into the other room, as I go to close the door, and I had a cup of coffee in my hand, mind you. And as I went to close the door, it gets kicked open. So I turn around.
Yeah, I mean, it's not your turn. Go on.
Okay.
As I turn around to see what happened, she squirts me dead in my face, right in my eyes, twice. With a cleaner.
Okay.
Instantly burned me, and as she squirts me, I have a cup of coffee in my hand that's at least 2 hours old. It wasn't even hot. And in a jerk reaction, I just came up with my coffee, and it got on me.
Wait, you threw the coffee at her, right?
No, I didn't throw it at her, no, not
You
at all.
spilled it on her accidentally?
No, I just put my hands up and defended myself. There was no,
So you spilled it on her accidentally as your hand was coming to defend your eyes?
coffee went out, Your Honor. It didn't.
No, that's not good enough. I want to know how that happened. Come on up. Were you with him that day?
Yes.
How'd it go down?
Different.
You work for him?
Yes.
You still work for him?
Yes.
Okay, you're under oath?
Yes.
Okay.
Just like Joe said, she kicked the door open and squirted him dead in the face.
Did she say anything?
She was screaming at him.
What was she saying? Do you remember?
I honestly don't know now.
Okay.
And Joe went like this with his coffee. You know, I don't know.
And then you said what?
I didn't say anything to her.
According to you, what did he say? Look at me. What are you going to do? You think you're going to have a fight right here in my courtroom?
They're under oath.
Yeah,
and they're
okay,
just
so you tell me,
continuing
what did
to
he say
lie.
after?
He said when he threw the coffee at me, which he admitted to in his first
in fairness,
report.
let's rewind. Let's
Okay.
rewind. You are the daughter of the owner.
Yes.
He is having a discussion with your father.
Mm-hmm.
He says it's that you have a leak up here. It's not how I did the job.
Right.
You
There wasn't
interject
any-
and you say, no, it's not. It's what?
Well, it was cut wrong. It was cut in different areas. It was cut too tight. And that's what I was told. My husband, many other people that came and did work in here, and that's in
Boy,
his
that has
field.
to be hard for your husband to sit
That's
through
in
this.
his field. It is. Okay. And
What do you mean that's in his field?
This is part of what he does.
Then
So
why didn't he do the floor? I don't understand. What does your husband do?
I would say basically he's like an engineer.
But he doesn't put in floors.
No.
Okay.
Okay, so,
now
but
you
we should
you come in and you haven't met this guy yet. You haven't introduced yourself.
No.
You haven't. So you then say what?
It wasn't even a problem. And I didn't even think.
Let me explain to you what I want in court. All I want are the facts.
Okay.
Just the facts, ma'am. You said what?
I started to say, no, there wasn't any water. The reason why the floors were the way they were. And then
Is
he
what?
didn't.
No,
I
you're
didn't
not
even-
finishing what you said. The reason why the floors are the way they are is because what?
Because they were not laid in properly.
Okay, don't look at each other again. Stop staring her down. Stop looking at him. Talk to me.
I just started to state the facts in reference to the floor. And he said, I'm not speaking to you.
Okay.
Go back to cleaning. I'm speaking to the gentleman that hired me. I said, hold on a second. This is my father. This is our place. And you're going to speak to me. He's like, I'm not speaking to you. Then we began to verbally go back and forth.
What were you saying to each other?
I'm just saying that I can speak here and I can give you my opinion. And I just kept trying to go on, and he kept, just downing me like I was some cleaning person and speaking to me like not like you would speak to a person that you're doing work for.
Even a cleaning person.
Anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's where that went. And then continuing with the facts, he said I kicked in the door. It was a doorway. I didn't kick open any door. He continued to talk, and he's saying this, and that.
What's he saying?
To be perfectly honest with you, he was discussing moisture.
To whom?
He was talking to my father my father was in this room, and he was like talking back and forth. As he went into the other room, I went into the other room. He continued to verbally abuse me.
No. That's a conclusion again on your part. It's editorializing. What did he say exactly?
I was telling him that his problem is that still doesn't know how to lay a hardwood floor down, and he can't take it from me that I have to tell him. And that's when he lunged towards me.
How did he lunge towards you?
He lunged towards me, like hollering, and came towards me. And when he came up at me, I reacted, and I sprayed
disrespect.
something which was not cleaner.
What was it?
It was linen spray.
What's that?
It's
Like Febreze, like just to freshen up linen?
Yeah, because we cleaned some carpets and there was moisture.
Do you have the bottle here?
No, I didn't. No,
So you sprayed it where?
I sprayed it towards him. I don't know that I sprayed.
Why'd you just walk back?
It was. I tell you, it was a reaction.
It was a reaction to him disrespecting you.
No, I don't believe so. It was a reaction to him coming up at me like that, and
Okay.
it's just something.
Tell me about
that
the
you do.
coffee.
So then he threw the coffee in my face
Like that.
deliberately.
Show me with your hands how he threw the coffee.
Which I have.
How did he throw the coffee?
I know I was hit in the face, strongly, dripping. Okay, it wasn't like
It wasn't hot coffee though, right?
No, it was. I mean, it
No,
was
no,
like
no. You already
lukewarm.
told the police it was not hot coffee. You can't.
Lukewarm.
Right.
I did not get burnt. Okay, that's it. But my point is, he admits to throwing coffee on me, okay, and not as a reaction. And I have that here in paper
Let me
right
see
now.
that. He stated that as a defense, he poured his coffee on her.
Correct.
Right? That's what the cop says you told her.
Yeah, in defense, yes.
Yeah, but that's different what you told me. What you told me is, oh no, the coffee just, went up. The coffee came out of the cup because my hand went up. Not I poured it at her. And see, because here's the thing. It's pretty obvious to the rest of us, and probably to you, now that cooler heads are prevailing and you're seeing what it's cost both of you, that this was really two really very sensitive trigger people who disrespect each other. He perceived you disrespected him. You perceived you disrespected him. Most people walk away from that disrespect and say a curse word, starting with an A and ending with an E.
Right.
And that's the most that they'll do. But not you two. And then according to you, he, with the smile on his face, says what to you?
The other guy was laughing, shaking his head, and he goes, "You're crazy, bro," to the other guy. He goes, "That's what get when they want it with me." That's
Wait,
what
which
Joe
one
Stone-
said that's what?
This one, Joe, said that's what get when they
He's
want
the
it
one who
with
said
me. The other guy was laughing and tells him, "You're crazy, bro." He goes like that, and the other guy goes, "That's what get when they want it with me." Now, if I really
What was
did,
your father doing during this?
I don't think he even understood.
Did he say to you, "Did you just throw coffee at
Yes,
my
he
daughter?"
did. Yes.
Right. And what'd you say to him when he said that?
I said she squirted me in the eyes, and I defended myself against her.
My point.
Does
that
your
I-
father have a lawsuit against him for the wood floors?
To be perfectly honest with you, we are just so.
You're waiting for all this to be over
Yeah.
with? Yeah. So now tell me, you go to the police and you tell the police what happened. And they ask you, do you want to file criminal charges? And you say to them,
She said to me, the officer said to me, she said, "Go to small claims, take all your information
so
for the
then
floor."
you go back to the studio and what happens?
I go back and I'm doing paperwork. Officer calls me. I go, there's other people in there now.
So
and-
you walk out because you don't want people to hear.
Right.
And when you walk outside, what happens?
He comes back by and he's beeping the horn. He's cursing me. I'm dead and putting his finger out. And she
Putting his finger out as in giving you the finger?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she overheard it
She overheard it.
over the phone.
Okay. Did you drive by there and give her the finger and tell her she was dead? And
I was in the emergency room, Your Honor. I was in the
not yet.
emergency
You
room.
weren't yet.
Yes. Oh, yes, I was.
You
Oh,
weren't
yes,
yet.
I was.
Okay. Before going to the emergency room, did you drive by and give her the finger?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Because I went north.
Do you have the police report?
Do I have a police report?
Do you have a copy of the police report? Because here's what the officer says. It is his claim that she walked up to him and sprayed him in the eye with cleaner unprovoked. He stated that as a defense, he poured his coffee on her. He stated that she did follow him out of the building, and he stated he is 2 minutes away from calling the police.
He was going to call somebody my up, is what he basically said. But
Okay. Stone said that he was on his way to the hospital, but decided to turn around and give his side of the story. When confronted with the recent incident of him driving by the business, honking his horn and waving, he admitted to doing so.
Your Honor?
Did you hear what I said? Or
Yes,
no?
I did.
Okay.
I was
So
not in
then
any
the
vehicle.
office. Say it again.
I left the emergency room and I went right to the police station, which still does not pass
Did
the
you
dance
drive
studio.
by and give your finger to?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Do you understand? It's in the police report.
I
Did you
understand
read
that.
the police report before you walked in here?
Yes, absolutely, I did.
You don't see it in there?
Yeah, but I don't believe it. Just because I have it doesn't mean I have to believe it.
Stone.
I don't believe it. I
What
was not
dog
there.
does the officer have in the fight? Unless the officer's like apparently yet another woman with something against you. The officer, you did the drive-by first, and then went to the cops, and then after that decided that you wanted to get yourself checked out at the hospital. Is that also not true?
Your Honor, I was at the emergency room.
Is that also not true? That's what this says, right?
That's not true.
So
I was at the emergency
officer has
room.
it all wrong.
Officer Shields called me up and told me that I need to come down to the police station.
Let me see the hospital records.
I don't have them. I faxed them over earlier,
You don't
but I don't
have
have them
them?
with me.
What do you mean you don't have them? If you faxed them, you had them to fax.
I
You
don't
didn't
have
bring
them
them with you?
today, Your Honor.
You left them at home?
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe I have it. Hold on. Underwood Memorial Hospital?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's see if they write the time. Oh, guess what? The hospital bill does have the time. You came in at 1 o'clock there, not at 10. Bad for you.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So if somebody sprayed Febreze in your eye, would it injure you?
I think it would.
What do you think's in it?
Bad chemicals.
Bad chemicals. What do you think?
I think it would injure you if you didn't clean it after.
If you didn't immediately wash it out, sir?
Yeah, more than likely, I would think.
Why?
Just it seems like something under the kitchen sink.
Does it have ammonia? Well, that's actually a good point. Anything under the kitchen sink, bad news, right? Okay, I get it. That's actually a pretty good maxim going inside the courtroom.
When Officer Shields gave me a call when I was at the emergency room, I left the emergency room and I went to the police station.
What time did you go to the emergency room?
It had to be around 10:45 because I showed up at the job at 10 o'clock.
10:45 is when you went?
Approximately, yes. Takes about 20 minutes.
Because when do you think that the event happened?
Whether she sprayed me?
Yeah.
Within 5 minutes of me being there.
So 10:05?
Correct.
And according to you, you went to the hospital immediately because you required immediate medical attention, and you went by 10:45?
Yeah.
Okay, what if I were to tell you that the officer says that she didn't even speak to you until 1:10? What do you think about that?
I don't
See,
know.
here's what I got to listen. Let me explain
something
something to you. Somebody sprays something into my eyes, I'm going to want to go to the hospital. But then, if what I think happened, and I think that the reason you went to the hospital was to beef it up, then it becomes different because your right in court is to have your necessary, reasonable expenses as a result of someone's wrongdoing covered. By the way, what they do for you at the hospital?
They held my eyes open for over 3 hours, and I had an IV drip in my eyes until all the chemicals were out of my eyes.
An IV drip in your arm?
Eye.
Intravenous means in your vein. That's what IV means.
The bag, with fluid in it. Whatever it was in that bag is what they clean my eyes out with.
All right. So now you come back after the hospital and tell the police, I changed my mind. I want to do criminal charges. You say no?
I'm sorry, one more time.
Did you come back to the police the second time?
Yes. Yes.
And did what?
I wanted to sign
criminal complaint.
Criminal complaint.
Which is different from, that's why you had to come back and do that, because you hadn't done that the first time. You had opted against filing criminal charges the first time. What changed between time one and time two?
I knew I was going to incur some hospital bills that I wanted.
Okay, so now you come back to file the criminal charges, and the officer who you come back and speak to calls you. So what do?
I came and I counterclaimed.
You filed a criminal complaint, and now you both have criminal charges against you. Okay,
right.
So now you have criminal cases against each other, and what happens in court? That's what I want to know.
The judge asked him if he would like to get an attorney, and
therefore what?
He said he did want to get an attorney.
Okay, so because he's going to have an attorney, you said, well, I don't want to.
I have to.
Well, no, you don't have to. You just want to, and that's fine. It makes sense. Why would he have to pay for your attorney? That's your counterclaim. You're suing him for harassment, and you're suing him for the attorney's fees.
Myself.
Wait, let's not lose sight of the fact that the very first thing that happened is you lost it because he was verbally rude and you sprayed him.
What difference does it make is that he's made this whole case.
Can I tell you something? The only pleasure I have is knowing how much of a pound of flesh both of you clowns have had to pay for your decisions that day.
I don't know how you could not see what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. Your chance to tell me your feelings is done. So do not interrupt me again. Okay? I am mortified that any human being would tell another human being, I don't have to respect you, go back to cleaning. I am mortified that another person's response to that would be to follow him into a room with the spray in the hand. I have to be honest with you. I don't know whether I believe, that he lunged at you, but he's got a really bad temper. So maybe he did take a step forward. I don't know how, when someone takes a step forward, you do anything but this, which is what would save you. Why you go with Febreze. I don't know why, but I don't know why either of you do a lot of things, and why you would think that it would be appropriate behavior on your part as a man to turn around and throw coffee. Then here it's, I spilled my coffee. Thank God that coffee wasn't hot. Thank God. But I kind of hope you learned that there are consequences for actions that happen and that they hurt other people, like your 82-year-old father, like your husband who has to sit here through all this, because I'm sure your husband wants to put his hands around his neck. All right? So now what do I have? Your lawsuit against him is for attorney's fees. Hiring an attorney for a criminal case is a very personal decision, okay? As far as a harassment is concerned, since it's so difficult to see who began the harassment, it's not going to entitle you a $1,500 bonanza in court. On your counterclaim against him, zero. Now let's talk about what I think is a stickier issue, which is the hospital bills. And I tell you in no uncertain terms, when I start to see each of the things that I start to see in the evidence.
Do you think I just went to the hospital, rack up a hospital bill that I'm paying, that's
No,
fine. But
everybody's lying. The hospital's lying. She's lying. The cop is lying. Everybody, when I start to get confronted with evidence after evidence that it starts to look like you're both still just trying to one-up each other, then it's my call to decide whether or not these are reasonable and necessary charges. So I guess your $1,500 is just the cost to you of having this trigger temper of yours. And I guess your $1,200 is just the cost to you of having your trigger temper. So next time, folks, ask yourselves whether it's worth it. On each of your claims, I find 0.
So it's immature responses to an adult problem that ultimately cost you your case here. What's your feeling on the outcome?
Nothing, Your Honor has her opinion. I don't agree with any of her opinions or theories on my temper and that I went to the hospital just to rack up some bills because I had nothing better to do that day.
You don't think you have a temper issue, right?
Not in this situation, no.
Right, okay.
I'm getting sprayed in the face with a chemical just...
Yeah, but you said a few things too.
Sure, so what? Does that entitle me to get sprayed in the face?
Yeah, I'm not saying.
My eyes?
I'm not saying that.
Getting blind is not a very good thing.
Okay, all right, right around the corner this way. All right, step on out here. Your feeling on the outcome here, you're culpable also for your actions.
I think she was fair. I think it was right. I really do.
Do you think your elderly dad is going to go after him for the floors now?
I think he is.
You do? You think there's more legal action going his way?
Absolutely.
You haven't seen the end of each other then in court?
No, they'll see each other, not us. We're done.
Okay, over to Harvey.
Aside from common sense, if somebody injures you, the more quickly you get medical attention, the better off for you, at least in terms of the lawsuit, and obviously in terms of your physical health. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.